I pack my jackpots with light rhyme. 1, 2, 1, 2. I know I could hit the jackpot with the right rhyme. So I hit the jackpot and write the right rhyme. My people still hurt. I asked grandma if you got time to tell me why you still working. She said, son, everything is not as you envision it. Walk strong in your faith and only trust your instinct. BMX forever. Cool P forever. X-Fact forever. Come on. BMX forever. Cool P forever. X-Fact forever. Cool P forever. Come on. Come on. Cool P forever. Cool P forever. Flow is crazy right now. Vocals start the track, I came to get busy. Still rep for the corner and those who rock with me. Hit you with these flows like bows and those songs.
Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Man Talk Monday. The number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. So I just posted the picture, the only picture that I can find that anybody tagged me in from the Sundresses and Seersuckers event this Saturday. I just posted it on the Doug Stewart Show, the Stewart Media and Entertainment chat group. So you take a look at it and you tell me if that's a red jacket or not. That's BS. Red and hot pink are two totally different colors. 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. The Boston Celtics, who were blown out in the first two games. I talked about game 2 of the series, but I didn't really talk about the fact that they got blown out in game 1 as well, for the most part. They just didn't get blown up by 40-plus points in game 2. But after getting blown out in the first two games, man, the Eastern Conference Finals and playing without Isaiah Thomas, they stunned the Cleveland Cavaliers, man, 111 to 108. Wow. Right. So what this did is this ended Cleveland's 13-game postseason winning streak. Marcus Smart, who had the big game in the night, started in place of Isaiah Thomas, who's pretty much done for the series, some type of hip issue that he has, made 7 3-pointers and scored 27 points. Ball award to him. Once again, I call him the new school Mark Jackson, point guard, but him and Mark Jackson were kind of chunky but funky. But yeah, he had a Mark Jackson type game last night, man. He hit 7 3-pointers, scored 27 points, willed this team to victory. And Avery Bradley had 20 points for the Celtics, who were given very little chance after the 44-point loss once again in game 2. No Isaiah Thomas, and they were on the road. Remember, that's the other big part about this story is that they were actually in Cleveland last night. And you'd think that at some point, the way that the Cleveland Cavaliers have been dominating, you just beat the Boston Celtics by 44 points. At some point, you're going to start to take teams for granted, but you have to remember, these are other NBA players as well. These cats got pride. Marcus Smart probably looked at this last night as an opportunity to show the world that he's that type of player. And he did it. You got to give him credit. Kyrie Irving scored 29 points, and Kevin Love had 28 for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And LeBron James, once again, a tough night. More on that in a second. The Cavaliers dropped to 10-1 in the postseason with their first loss since Game 4 of last year's finals. LeBron James had one of the worst games of his postseason career. finishing with 11 points and 6 turnovers. Despite the struggles, the Cavs had a 77-56 lead in the third quarter after making 14 three-pointers in the first half. Let me stop right there. And you're listening to The Doug Stewart Show, 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. To be up in this game, let me try to find it one more time. 77-56, to be up by 21 points in the third quarter of an NBA game with a team that you had just beat by 44 the previous game is kind of akin to blowing a 25-point lead in the Super Bowl. It just shouldn't happen. Not only blowing that big of a lead, but you've got, which some people say are the greatest basketball player of all times. There's no rational explanations. We know NBA teams, they go on runs, and they're professionals, as I just said a couple of seconds ago. But this is very comparable to what happened with the Falcons in the Super Bowl. It just shouldn't happen, especially when you got LeBron James on your team, or if you're talking about the Falcons, you got Matt Ryan, the league MVP this year. It just should not happen. Here's a quote from LeBron James. I'm kind of glad it happened the way that it did. Ninja, stop lying. You're not glad that they lost a 21-point lead and lost a game in the NBA Eastern Conference Finals. Let me go over with the quote. He says, I'm glad it happened the way that it did, he said. We have to play a lot better. I feel some adversity as part of the postseason. If it's going to happen, let it happen now. Let's regroup and go back to playing desperate basketball, which they did tonight. We've got to be a lot better for sure. James's run of scoring at least 30 points ended at 8 straight playoff games. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did it in 9 games back in 1970. Shouts out to Jab. Shouts out to Jabbar listening to the show right now. LeBron James helped Boston's comeback by going for 6 and scoring just 1 point in the final 18 minutes. Hey, listen, man, I never claimed to have all of the sense, so maybe one of y'all can explain that to me. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. If you're in the chat room, give me your thoughts. You can call the show at 404-382-0338. You can email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com once again on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. It's not possible for, once again, a lot of people would argue, the best basketball player ever. A lot of people would argue that they take LeBron James before they take Michael Jordan. How is it possible that that guy could score 1 point in 18 minutes? That's impossible. That's impossible, but it actually happened last night. Game 4 is Tuesday night in Cleveland. Once again, I'm sure that the Cavaliers are going to come back, man, and just probably dominate. They'll probably win, by 40 points going away. But last night was not a good look. After going scoreless in the fourth quarter and totaling only 11 points in a 111-108 Game 3 loss to the Celtics on Sunday, Cavaliers forward LeBron James said he didn't have it as Boston battled back from a 21-point lead to win at the buzzer. Great shot by Avery Bradley once again. James said after his fourth lowest scoring playoff game of his career, which has spanned 210 postseason games, he says, quote, me personally, I didn't have it. My teammates did a great job of keeping us in the game, building that lead, but me personally, I didn't have it. That's all I've got to say about my performance. Yeah, very evident last night. I mentioned this earlier. Very evident last night that he didn't have it, and he didn't want anything to do with that damn basketball. He didn't want anything to do with that basketball. He looked to defer. He looked to try to get the ball to Kyrie Irving, man, because Kyrie Irving, once again, is a killer. Like, Kyrie don't give a damn. If this was football, they call Kyrie Irving Brett Favre. They call him a gunslinger. Kyrie Irving is a gunslinger. He don't give a damn. He think he can get to the basket every single time. Now, it did get him into a little bit of trouble last night with a couple of turnovers at the basket. But Kyrie is going to go for it. And you could kind of sense LeBron was like, man, I don't have tonight. Let me get this ball to this young boy. And Kyrie almost did it. If not for the incredible shot at the very end, it would have went to overtime, and chances are the Cavaliers would have came in with a win, but it just wasn't meant to be. Here's this. The record books show it was one of James' least productive playoff games. His 11 points were his fewest in 107 home playoff games. Did you hear that? His 11 points were his fewest in 107 career home playoff games. They were his fewest points overall since May 28th of 2014, when he scored 7 points against the Indiana Pacers with the Miami Heat. Damn, in 2000, I forgot about this. This man played an entire game and only scored 7 points. I don't know, man. And listen, you can call me a hater. You can do whatever you want. But I'm pretty sure that Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant never had a 7-point game in the playoffs. It's a bad look. It was the second time in his playoff career that he was held scoreless in a fourth quarter in which he played the entire period. The first was the Heat's game, the Miami Heat's game, for a loss to the Dallas Mavericks in the 2011 NBA Finals, in which he finished with 8 points. It was his first playoff game with fewer than 15 points and 5 or more turnovers. He had 6 of them last night. First time since May 6, 2008, which also came against the Celtics. He played 169 playoff games between those two games. It was the second time in the past 10 seasons that he scored the fewest points among his team's 5 starters. Once again, refer to the title, not a good look. Yeah, let me repeat that one more time, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. It was the second time in the past 10 seasons that he scored the fewest points among his team's 5 starters. The other was Game 5 of the 2014 East Finals, in which he was held to 7 points, once again, due in part, they're saying, to being in foul trouble. The Cavaliers' 21-point blown lead was the largest of James's postseason career. His teams were previously 49-0 after leading by 20 points or more. I just talked about that. That shouldn't happen. And the numbers say 49 other times they were undefeated in that situation. So, tough night for LeBron James, man. What are your thoughts? Do you think they bounce back in Game 4? I 100% expect them to bounce back in Game 4. They have a better team, a much better team. Last night, I kind of buy into what he was saying. It just wasn't his night. But it just seems like that the greats, you know, if I were to say, if I were to play devil's advocate, the greats usually figure out a way to be more active and more involved in the game. You know, and LeBron does that. He's probably the best at that. Like, he's, you know, the consummate, facilitator of the team. Floor general, have you. And last night when he wasn't shooting well, couldn't even make free throws, you would think that he would try to, break down the defense, get to the basket, maybe kick it out to some open players. And he did that to a degree, but just a lot of turnovers and just a bad night for LeBron James. What are your thoughts? Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Let me read some messages in the chat room on Spreaker.com from Gary G. Money Joyner, RCR. He says, I still would take LeBron over Kobe Bryant. Well, I wouldn't do that. That's fine. I mean, I got LeBron in my top 5. We talked about this last week. I have Kobe still ahead of him as far as all-around basketball players in the last 40 years. In which I've been watching basketball. And listen, I don't know. Teams, players have bad games. So, I really don't think it's that much. It's just incredible to witness. But I'm sure that Michael Jordan's had some bad games in the playoffs. I talked about how he's had these games with very, very low shooting percentages